Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I wasn't going to come live today, but I was called to just like 10 minutes ago. So this is really impromptu. This is really just out of left field for me. I wasn't intending on this, but I got the call from Spirit to come live. So here we are. The energy today has felt very heavy. I am exhausted, beyond exhausted. Let me know how you guys are doing. Say hi in the chat. Let's just chat and pull some cards and see what's going on. We did just post a Divine Masculine reading, so make sure that you check that out. Some heavy energy there as well, but Divine Masculines feel like they're moving into a good place, a place of clarity, a place where what they had shown me was the clouds parting and the sun shining again. So they do feel like they're moving into a good place. But let me know how you guys are feeling. There's some heavy energy, it feels like, tonight. So let's just chat and pull some cards and see what's going on. Hey, Alicia. Feeling off yesterday and today. Yeah, it's heavy. It's not entirely pleasant. I got to be honest. It's not entirely pleasant. We're doing a lot of transmuting right now at this time for the collective as a whole, and it's not easy. You guys might be experiencing what I've been experiencing, which is a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of waking up in the middle of the night and feeling some anxiety. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That's my dog coming up the stairs. Sorry. Hi, Bubba. You might be waking up in the middle of the night, feeling a sense of anxiety, feeling a sense of fear. And that's all because you are actually transmuting in dream state. You are transmuting energetically. You are astral traveling in your sleep. You're doing a lot of energy work. And so you might be waking up exhausted as well, but it's all because you are really anchoring in that fifth dimensional consciousness and transmuting the fear that is kind of overwhelming the planet at this time. So the number one thing that Spirit wants you to know is how proud and grateful they are for you and the work that you are doing. So this ascension journey has led us here. This is why we are here at this point in time, right here, right now. It is because we are helping to anchor in this energy and to transmute that fear for the collective. So that healing work, all that healing work that you've been doing, I know that we want that, that relationship with our divine masculines, or if you're a divine masculine, that relationship with your divine feminine. I know that that's that icing on the cake. That's that cherry on the cake. But this is really what we're here for. We are here for this mission. We are here to anchor into, hey, Seth, we are here to anchor in that higher energy of love. So good job, you guys. It's because you've done the healing work that you are able to help to transmute everything that's going on here. It's because you now have the tools. And so don't be afraid of the tools. Don't be afraid of your power. Don't be afraid of your divinity. Don't be afraid, I'm hearing, of your magic. Don't be afraid to step up and lead now, because you're being called to. You really are being called to. And you wouldn't be called to if you weren't ready. So trust in that. Trust in this timing. All right. Let's just pull some cards. What questions do you have? Hi, Laura. What questions do you guys have? We're not doing personal readings today. We might do a live chat coming up next month with personal questions here on the channel. We've done that before, and I had a lot of fun with that. But what questions do you have for the collective? Let's get some energies for the collective and see what's going on there, because we just did the Divine Masculine reading earlier today. So make sure that, again, you do check that out. Interesting energies there. But what questions do you have as far as what's going on collectively? Let's pull some energies there. Let me know what's on your mind. Divine masculine or divine feminine, or mission or ascension or journey, or what's going on in the world. Whatever it is that you guys want to know, we'll channel some messages until I pass out. I'm not taking personal questions tonight. This is going to be questions for the collective. We're not doing personal readings tonight, sorry. What can we do to start our mission? Well, the number one message is that you already are on mission. Hey, Faye. Good to see you too. You already are on mission because as soon as you were launched on this ascension journey, that was part of your mission, is what they're saying. And that's actually new to me. They haven't channeled that to me before. Because what they have said to me before is that your mission is love, to come to a higher understanding, awareness of unconditional love. Hey, Jamia. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you guys. See, this is what we needed. We really needed to raise the vibes here. So your mission is love. And the more you work on your own journey, the more you work on your own soul growth and expansion, the more you're coming home to love, which that's a really beautiful way they just put that. The more you're coming home to love. And yes, that's going to include your divine counterpart, but most importantly, love as a whole. So you're already on your mission, which is helping to bring about love to the collective, anchoring in that unconditional love, being the embodiment of unconditional love. Whatever it is that pulls you, your mission will actually be, so that's your mission, is love, but that will play out in a number of different ways in your 3D life. So your mission could be as like a nurse or a doctor, or it could be starting a nonprofit foundation. It could be volunteering with children. It could be any number of things as it plays out in your physical world, but the whole is going to be love. It's going to be ascension. It's going to be this awakening. It's going to be whatever it is that you're called to on your spiritual path as a light worker. But it's going to be different for everybody. Oh, you're a preschool teacher. And see, that's the thing. Your passions are not your passions by mistake. If you have been letting your soul lead you your entire life down different directions. So, for example, I've always been a writer. I've always been called to write because I've always been like a storyteller and a communicator. And writing books has been one of my passions because I actually end up channeling when I'm writing my books. But hey, Dave. But so that has kind of changed. I mean, I'm still writing my books and everything, but now I'm doing tarot, but it's still the same thing. I'm still channeling messages. It's still the same kind of embodiment of love because when I'm writing my books, it's in a way channeling messages that are helping people to understand themselves, helping people to understand the human experience. And I'm doing the same thing here when I'm on the channel, here when I'm doing readings for people. It's just presenting in a different way, presenting in a different medium. But underneath the core of it, it's the same. And it all comes back to helping to uplift the planet, helping people to understand themselves and their experience, and love as a whole. So your mission will play out in different ways. But as long as you're following your soul, as long as you're following what feels good to you, where your soul is guiding you, you'll always be on mission. And even if it changes in the 3D, you'll always be on mission as long as you are following your path. Hope that helped. Hi, you guys. Yeah, and Alicia, I mean, your mission can change. And I'm putting that in quotes because it's like your career can change. But when you look underneath the surface of what your passion actually is, pulling away any of the surface stuff, that's what your mission is. It's what are you doing for the collective? What does your purpose feel like versus what does it look like in the 3D? What does it look like as far as a career? Okay. Other questions. We're asking questions for the collective tonight. Divine masculine energies, divine feminine energies. I will do a reading and pull some cards, but I want to know what direction you guys want me to go in first. You're welcome. And I got a bunch new Oracle decks, so I'm excited to use them. So I don't mind doing a reading tonight. I don't know. They just called me on here, you guys. Honestly, this is just spur of the moment. Like literally 5-10 minutes before I hopped on, they said, go do a live. Let's lift the vibe. So that's why I'm here. So let's see. Let's do a quick reading and see what's going on. Let's Spirit, what do you have to say? Why did you want me to come on here? What's going on? Oh, yeah, this is what we're feeling. We have stuck energy. Oh, can you guys see that? Stuck energy. That's what we're feeling. But you see that rainbow there? It's like you're not really stuck. You can never be really stuck because everything, life, even though it sometimes feels stagnant, even though energy sometimes feels stagnant, you're only as stuck as you perceive yourself to be. And so if if you feel like you're stuck, it's just because you're not looking at the greater picture. You're not seeing the solution, and solutions are always provided for you. You're only stuck as you're only as stuck as you perceive yourself to be because you're only as limited as you perceive yourself to be. So if you're feeling this way, if we're feeling this way, you can transmute this and ask for guidance from your spirit team, ask for support from your spirit team, ask for solutions and clarity from your spirit team. Because it's like what they're showing me. You see that guy, he's stuck in the mud and he's just like waiting around. Well, if you're just waiting around, well, guess what? You're not going anywhere. But if you get the guidance to call a tow truck or to call friends for support and help, well, guess what? That support and help is your spirit team, and they're going to come in and help you out of that stuck mud. But if you're just sitting on your laurels, and I got to say, this kind of feels like divine masculine energy, and I don't mean that in a negative way. But if you're just sitting on your laurels and not doing anything and waiting for help, then help isn't going to come. You have to be proactive. You have to take action. Going with the flow of the universe and surrendering doesn't mean not taking action. It means trusting in the divine, calling on your support team, but then surrendering to what that support looks like. It's like you call for help, like you call a number for help, and then you wait and see who shows up, because that's the universe bringing whoever you need to come into your life to show up, to get you out of this stuck mud, to show up. It's not calling and then expecting this person or that person to show up. That's where you call on the divine and say, I need help. And the divine says, okay, we'll bring you help. And that's where you surrender to what that help is supposed to look like. Does that make sense? If that feel a little bit strange and convoluted how they show that to me. But that's what it is. That's what it means to be a co-creator. It's you taking the action and saying, I need help. I need to change something. I need to change my life because I am stuck here. That's when and what that is actually you're letting go of pride. You're humbling yourself and letting go of pride and saying, I need support because I don't want to be stuck in this energy anymore. And that's when the divine is saying, we have been waiting for this. We have been waiting for you. We're here for you. We've always been supporting you, but that's your own free will. You have to call on your spirit team to intervene. You have to call on your spirit team and say, listen, I'm having trouble. I need your support. That's when they come in and bring about that beautiful, bright rainbow there. Ooh, that was strong. That was strong energy there. That's funny. We have professional assistants. That's the support. Professional assistants at the bottom of the deck. Whew. 11 people in the chat. I love the syncs. Okay. How do you know when you've done enough healing to be in alignment for union? The healing is always going to continue. You're always going to be healing because that is just, and you don't have to call it healing. It's just expansion. I used to call it healing. I still call it healing, but I more align with the term expansion because you're always going to be expanding, and healing has this tone to it of you're broken and you're not broken. You're just waking up and remembering who you truly are, which is divinity embodied. So expansion, you're always going to be growing. You're always going to be expanding. And so there isn't really an end date, but that's where you have to recognize that what alignment is just divine timing. And surrendering to that divine timing and knowing that you've been doing the work and continue to do the work for that soul growth and that soul expansion, and that union it's already here. They keep reminding me of that. I keep trying to say it will be here, it will come. And they keep saying, no, Susan, it's already here. For this collective, for you guys, it's already here. So it's all about just allowing it to manifest and show up in the physical 3D world. But you're already coming into alignment with it because you're already in alignment with yourself. So that's where it is. That's what it means to surrender. That's what it means to continue to have faith, even if you're not seeing it in the 3D world, in your 3D physical plane, like in a physical relationship. Keep tapping into it, at least energetically, and keep having faith in the unfolding, because that's what perfect divine timing is all about, that you're exactly where you need to be in every given moment. So what's interesting is, I'll tell you guys, they keep saying that union is here, right? I'm not seeing any of that in my physical world. In fact, with me and my divine counterpart, it actually feels like we couldn't be further apart emotionally. And what's been coming up, it's almost like that distance, or that separation, as we call it on this journey, is actually bringing up something else for me to work through. That's what perfect timing is all about. That it's not that, okay, how do I say this? It's like there was something that has been lingering for a long time within my energy field that I know that I have to clear. And I've been doing the deep dives and I haven't known how to entirely clear it. And so that's when I called on one of my good friends to help me with some energy healing, because it feels like that is like a piece of the puzzle that I haven't truly been able to get my head around. Now, will that bring me into alignment with me and my divine counterpart? I have no idea, because he's still doing the work on his end as well. But at least for me, I know that I'm in alignment with union for myself. And however that's meant to come into alignment in the physical world with our physical relationship, that's what perfect timing is about. Knowing that at every given moment, you are exactly where you're meant to be on your journey. And is that making sense, Jamia? It's just about divine timing, and divine timing is just about letting go of the expectations of when, like it has to be now, because it's already here. It's already there in your energy field. It's already happening energetically. It's just when it comes into being in your physical reality, it's going to be when it's meant for you. I don't quite know how to interpret that right now. And let me know if you need more clarity on that. How does union play into our soul's purpose? So I talk a lot about that in 2 readings, the Healer Warrior video. I'll try to remember to link that after this. I felt my hands start tingling as you were talking, so I was paying extra close attention. Good. That means there was a message there for you. Good. I hope that made sense, because it was. I'm so exhausted, you guys. It was so convoluted in my mind. Like the energy's there. I just don't know if I'm actually articulating it okay. But anyway, back to your other question. How does union play into our soul's purpose? The Healer Warrior video talks about that, and Everything is Illuminated talks about that. We've been talking about that in the past few readings, so I don't really want to get into that right now. But yeah, I'm not picking up on anything, and I feel like it's because we've already talked about that. So, and I also feel like they're calling you to those videos, so there might be something there for you that you need to hear as well. So the Healer Warrior, Everything is Illuminated. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description box. If I don't, feel free to email me, and I'll make sure that you get those links. Whew, you guys. How are you feeling? How are you guys feeling? How did the new moon treat you? You're welcome. Let's see if there's anything else Spirit wants us to know. Exhausted. Yeah. Are you guys sleeping at night? I'm having a really hard time sleeping. This is really interesting. Faye, I'm going to get to your question in a second. This is really interesting. We have your higher self and fear that came out. And I feel like this is like the 3D world right now. And this is you. And you see how serene she is? And do you see the heart chakra is just lit up energetically there? This feels like the 3D world. And this feels like this is you. This is you. This is where you are in the ascension journey, just serene and balanced and just at peace. And what you're actually doing, because you're tapping into your higher self, what I actually just heard is you're integrating with your higher self, which is beautiful and amazing. Because you're doing that, you're easily able to transmute the fear. You're able, I'm hearing, to observe the fear, allow it to flow through you, to feel it, but not hold on to it, not attached to it like you once did. And look at the juxtaposition in those two energies here, the darkness here and the light here. You're able to transmute this. You're able to clear this very easily. Again, feel it, but not hold on to it, not attached to it. Almost observe it and just let it go, because you know that fear is an illusion. You know that that's not truth. Love, the embodiment of your higher self, that is the truth here. So everything that you might be feeling, everything that might be coming up to you, and this doesn't have to just be collective. This could also be stuff that soul sludge, as I like to call it, that's coming up to you for you as layers to be healed and cleared as well. And especially with the fear that we're experiencing, the chaos that we're experiencing in our outside world, with this virus and everything, that could be bringing up some old trauma, some old heartbreak, especially if you're in quarantine. Then you're really taking the time to reflect. You're really forced to kind of go into that energy of solitude and reflect and tap into your higher self. And that might be bringing up some fears as well, because you're looking at your shadow side. But that's really what this time is meant for. It's really meant for healing. It's really meant for connecting to your higher self, because that is what brings in the clarity. That's what brings in the healing. So that's pretty amazing. I don't know why I have this like rash on my neck. I don't know where that came from. How do we all keep our vibes high in these hard times? This. Keep tapping into your heart space. Keep transmuting the fear, recognizing that that's an illusion, recognizing that that is something to observe and recognize, but not hold on to. Look at it as like okay, so they're reminding me of this. When I was learning to really get a hold of my mind, because my mind used to be just scattered and overthinking, overanalyzing, and just now it's in a place where it's just kind of clear. And it's been that way for about a year. And it feels so different from the way I always used to live my life. But I used to have this anxiety. I used to have fear. I used to be overanalyzing and just go, just mindless chatter, right? What I used to do, I had learned years ago that you can use a visual to stop the chatter, to be more mindful of your thoughts. And I used to use a stop sign, but that didn't exactly work. It wasn't really helping me. But then what I started to do was I imagined, do you guys remember the movie Gremlins? I started to imagine Gizmo from the Gremlins. How do I say this? I started to imagine him pooping hearts. And the visual of that made me laugh so hard that it immediately raised my vibes and cleared any fear and anxiety and like any negative energy that I was feeling, because that visual it made me laugh. It just made me laugh so much. And that just completely changed my vibration and turned my energy around. So you can do something like that, use visuals, keep tapping into your higher self, tapping into your heart chakra, hydrate, meditation, guided meditations. I take a lot of Epsom salt baths, which really help to clear my energy, walking in nature, grounding yourself in nature, good foods, anything that makes you happy, that lifts your vibrations, especially creating, especially something like art, that will actually, because you're getting all of that energy. Because what is art but an expression of self? And if you're feeling a lot of heavy emotion, you have to communicate that somehow. And so expressing yourself through writing or painting or music really gets all that energy outside of yourself and puts it somewhere else outside of yourself. Because if you're just holding, and this is divine masculine energy, right? Where they've been holding it in and holding it in and holding it in. But that's not good for you to hold it in, because you're just suppressing and pushing all of that emotion down. There has to be an outlet for it, because that outlet, it's catharsis. If you express it, you're like breathing it out. You're breathing out that negative energy. And even if it's something positive like love, breathe out love too, because that love, where does it go? But it goes into the world. Don't hold it all in. Allow it to go somewhere. Okay. Hold on, let me catch up. I love that you guys are chatting. Okay. Vivid dreams and messages. Yeah, dreams are incredibly vivid at this time. I would actually suggest keeping a dream journal. That way you can, when you wake up, you can see what it means for you, like what the dreams are trying to tell you. Very tired lately. Yes, but not sleeping at night. Good that you're confident, Seth. Good. Good. And make sure you're resting when you can. Dreaming different people from your past, still trying to figure out how to cut those cords. I have somebody from my past lingering around in my energy field, and that has been, I have no idea how to let that go. I've been doing cord cutting. I've been doing like the deep dives and trying to figure out why that's still showing up in my energy field. And I'm finally doing a healing session with a good friend of mine. So energy healing, there might be an attachment there. There might be some kind of attachment there. So maybe if you haven't done cord cutting meditations already, you might look to an outside source to help to release that attachment. Can fears be purged out through? Yes, absolutely. Fears can be purged out through dreams. And you're actually, you will be doing a lot of transmuting through dreams if you haven't already. Because what that's doing is, what the dreams are is just subconscious. And it plays out in like symbolism and metaphors and things like that. That's why dreams can be a little bit convoluted. But like I always say, tap into the emotion. What is the dream actually making you feel? Because that's the truth of the dream. There's dreams that are just so weird that can be like, there's bears and there's beavers and there's wasps. I had a dream the other night where I was gathering shoes of my divine counterpart and his child and putting them by the back door, and all of the doors in my house were open, and I decided to close the back door. And when I was closing the back door, my old cat who had died was there, and I scooped him up in my arms and I was talking to him, and there were 2 tigers. And then when I went back in the house, there were wasps, and it was so freaking convoluted. Like it was a dream that was weird. You know how weird dreams can be? But when I looked into it and looked at the totems, what the totems meant of those animals and what it was actually trying to tell me and how it made me feel, I understood what I was actually transmuting within that dream. It was old fears, it was insecurities, it was confusion that I was actually transmuting through dream state. So don't look at you can pick apart the symbolism because there's meaning there as well. But most importantly, look at what is it trying to show you as far as how is it making you feel? Yeah, and it was vivid too. The dream was vivid, but insane. Like it was like so many different parts, but the parts create a whole. And it really does serve to show you something. Going out to the creek to listen to running water and drew cards. That's beautiful. I did that the other day. I went to the lake and I pulled some cards and did a little ritual and just sat in meditation. And it was so calming and peaceful. And that's really what we need to be doing to ground our energy, especially when the outside world feels so chaotic. Do you think communicating with the people from the dreams and getting closure, telling them that there's no future with them is a good idea? Sure. You can do lucid dreaming as well. I don't think there's anything harmful in that. Just make sure before you go to sleep at night, you protect your energy from anything unwanted. Call upon, your spirit guides, your angels to protect your energy, to protect you as you go to sleep. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Crazy dreams. Faye, for the longest time, I couldn't remember my dreams. Yeah, for the longest time. And then all of a sudden they became vivid again, and I was waking up and remembering them. You're still going to be healing even if you can't remember them. So there's no worries there. Inner child wound surfacing suddenly. I see. Laura, I haven't noticed that within myself. Well, okay. Well, I will say this. I've noticed that a little bit within the collective and some of the readings that have been coming through. And haven't really noticed that within myself, except I was listening to an audiobook that a friend had recommended to me about relationships and attachment theory. And they were talking about how you attach to certain people because that's how we are as humans. We want to feel connected. We want to feel bonded to them. And all of a sudden I had a vision of like being held, like cradled by my divine masculine. And it brought up a sense of safety and security that I haven't felt in a very long time. So I feel like that was, and I know that was like some inner child stuff that was coming to the surface. So it's really interesting that you say that because it hasn't been prevalent, but I feel like, especially with everything that's happening in the world, all of the chaos that's here, I feel like it is coming up to the surface. There is some of that's coming up to the surface here. Oh, Alicia, that's sweet. Yeah, you could be transmuting for your masculine as well. Absolutely. Yeah, we're divine feminines are still doing that. Even if you've detached energetically or physically, you're still transmuting. You're still doing the energy work. Even if it's not like you're actively doing it, even if you're not consciously doing it, you're still doing it, especially if you feel that energy. You might not be like going to energy healers or doing meditations or shooting him sunbeams of love and compassion, but your energy is still working with your divine masculine to help to transmute. Because remember, you're one, you guys. You are that merged energy, so you're naturally going to be helping each other through this process. Let's check in on the energies right now. How about we do that? Let's see what's going on. See if anything changed from that reading that I just did. What's going on with these sacred unions? Sometimes I want to calm and tell him to breathe because I feel his energy, and when he's anxious, I feel it's so much strong. You can tell him to knock it off energetically. I say that to my divine masculine all the time, even when I'm not like in communication with him. If I feel him and it doesn't feel good, and when it's yours and when it's your masculines, especially at this point, you can determine, or when it's the collective. I'll tell him to just relax and knock it off, especially if I feel like there's some kind of anger that's coming to the surface. I'll yell at him. I don't know if he hears me, but it does feel like the energy calms a little bit. So, okay, so here's what's interesting. We have the Knight of Cups, the Four of Swords, Page of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. I really feel like this is divine masculine energy, and like they are keeping an eye on you, divine feminines. I feel like this Queen of Pentacles is you, and they're seeing you very balanced, very stable, and they're admiring this about you. They're seeing you as loving, as nurturing, very balanced, very stable. They're seeing you in high value here. And with the Page of Swords, it's like they're checking you out. They're checking you out. Was it you, Alicia, that said that he's like making sure that you're okay? That's his energy here, where he's admiring. They're admiring you. The Knight of Cups and the Four of Swords. Why is the Knight of Cups and the Four of Swords here? The King of Cups. So what's interesting is I feel like they want to come forward and tell you, with that Knight of Cups, the King of Cups here, I feel like they want to tell you how much they do admire you and how much love they do have for you. But they're being held back at this time because this is a time of reflection. Again, no coincidence that this quarantine is happening, because it's actually forcing so many to go inside and face, I'm hearing the words, the remnants of their shadow side. So two messages here. If they weren't looking at themselves, if they were in like a victim mentality where they were looking outside of themselves rather than looking inside of themselves, if they weren't making any changes within their life, this is actually forcing them to reconsider, and really analyze themselves, really have that self-awareness and accountability, really forcing them to reflect on themselves, their life, this connection, and what it is that they want for their future. Because remember that stuck energy here? They can't sit in this energy anymore. The universe will not let them. It will not let them. They've been stuck in this energy for way, way, way too long. And so, this what's happening here is really the universe kind of putting them on lockdown and saying, you've got to face yourself now. You have to step up and face yourself, because that's the only way you're going to move forward. Now, another message is coming forth that the remnants, for those masculines who have been doing the work and facing their shadow sides and doing the healing work and making changes, they're having this period to just like the feminines, whatever is still coming up to the surface, they're using this time to continue to heal and to clear. So even though they're feeling this, they're kind of holding their emotions back because they're still in this healing energy here. But they're keeping an eye on you, wanting to communicate, wanting to come in. It's just they can't. They can't just yet. It's like they don't know how just yet, because that divine timing is at play. Hold on, let me get another. Give me 1 second. I'll get to the comments in a sec. Yeah, okay. So I asked to clarify the Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. And what do we have but the 10 of Pentacles and the Empress? They're absolutely seeing you. This is, okay, so two messages here. They're absolutely seeing you as this beautiful, balanced, nurturing, feminine energy. For some, they're looking at you as life partner. They're really seeing you as your life partner, as their life partner. They're seeing you as a mother figure. They're seeing you as their counterpart. They're seeing you as the person of their dreams and wanting this lifelong commitment with you. So I feel like this is what they're actually thinking about. This combination is just, I can't even tell you how much love there is, especially with this King of Cups. There's so much love in this energy here. This is what they're thinking about. This is actually, it feels like this is part of like what they're reflecting on and facing, because they were in such self-deception and denial of this for so long. But this really feels like they're gaining clarity about what it is that they want for their life. And they want their Empress. They want their divine feminine, their counterpart. Yeah, I mean, this energy is, I can't, that's amazing. That's really incredible. But they're still fighting some battles here with the Nine of Wands. They're not giving up. They're persevering, but they're still kind of, they're a little bit battle worn right now. They're still fighting some battles. And that's what this period of respite is really about. Okay. He called you today to check on you because he's feeling your energy. Oh, that's beautiful. I don't know what I said, Faye, but thanks. Do dreams, visions tend to be a 5D representation of something that will happen in 3D, if that makes Dave, do you mean like prophetic dreams? Like predictive dreams? If so, sometimes dreams can be prophetic. Sometimes they are just something that's coming up from the subconscious to be cleared or looked at or healed. It all depends. Tune into the energy of it and see what is it that you're feeling. And always ask your spirit guides for clarification if you're unsure. But it can go a number of different ways. Really helped your DM to connect with himself. Really made him want to make changes in his life. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, because they know that the way they were living their life wasn't serving them. They know that. There was a lot of denial. There was a lot of self-deception because, like I talked about in today's reading, again, make sure you check that out, today's Divine Masculine reading, they were in a place of comfort. And even if it was miserable to them, even if they know that they weren't happy, even if they know that they weren't, if it wasn't fulfilling to them, there was a sense of comfort there. Because comfort is what you know, and comfort is what ego likes. And so the universe has been coming in with those tower moments to kind of shake up their world, because the universe is saying you deserve better and you can have better, and you know that this isn't serving you anymore. It might have served a past version of them, but it's not serving who they are now, who they have become, especially on this ascension journey. Spiritual awakening is much different than ascension. You can have a spiritual awakening, and we have multiple throughout our lifetimes because, awakening is an ever-evolving journey. But when you're launched on ascension path, it's completely different. It's a whole new ballgame. It's much deeper. And, when you're awakening, you can still, you see things differently. You have a shift in consciousness, but you can still live the old life that you had. You can't do that on ascension. Ascension is changing your entire life from the inside out. And the outside, they're emphasizing the outside. Your outside world does have to change as a result because your vibrations are changing. So as your vibrations are rising, there are going to be people, places, things, careers, beliefs, patterns, addictions, relationships that just aren't in alignment anymore. And for Divine Masculines especially, they were really clinging to that. They were really clinging to their old, just out of fear. And it's, we have compassion for that because change can be scary because you don't know what's to come. But that's where having faith in the divine is. That's where having faith in yourself is, because when you're in tune with your higher self, with your soul self, then you recognize the power that you have to create. And any change that comes your way, you are creating. You can go, you can manifest the most horrible things and keep yourself trapped in that cycle if you want. That's your power. Or you can continue to manifest in a positive direction. That's up to you. You have that power. And part of this ascension journey is recognizing that nothing happens that is not within your power. If it's a negative experience or if it's a positive experience, that is within your power. That is you creating. That is you. That's your power. That's you manifesting. And if you're manifesting, continuing to manifest negative situations, then that's just because you're stuck in the same pattern. You're stuck in the same level of consciousness. You're stuck in the same loop. And you have to break yourself free by changing your perspective, changing the patterns, and shifting your consciousness out of any lack mentality, any scarcity mindset, any negative vibration, any victimhood. You have to get yourself out of that energy. I don't know what I just said, so let's just, let's see. Whew. If you've had the same dream a number of times, Dave, then pay attention. Pay attention to that, because that's definitely showing you something. And actually, what they're actually recommending is that you do journal it. You do write that down, because they might be showing you patterns for you to be aware of. Yeah, what Faye just said. You guys are so supportive of each other. I love it so much. If you're not willing to make changes, you will keep having the same shitty situations. Yeah, it's just karma. It's just karma. And if you don't change, and karma is just energy, and if you don't change the pattern, if you don't change yourself, then you're just going to be repeating the same lessons because there's something there that you have to learn. You know, nothing happens to you. Everything is happening for you to show you what it is that you need to learn, what karma it is that you need to close out, how you need to shift you and your energy and your perspective and your vibrations. Jimmy, he wasn't ready for the love. He might not have been ready for you because he wasn't in a relationship with you because he knows that this connection is something different. So if there is another partner, then it's because he needs to learn something from that partner. Just like if you have another partner, it's because you're meant to learn something from that other partner before you and your counterpart come into that relationship, before you and your partner come into that union. It's just that there's something else that he needs to experience before he's really ready for you. And sometimes, sometimes that does mean that they're playing it out with another partner. Sorry, guys. That's Moxie. Hold on, let me close my door. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I have new neighbors and they have a dog, which is fun, except for when my dog barks because she wants to say hi. Okay, where are we? Which is part of why I had to detach and love him from a distance because he got comfortable with the dynamic of our relationship while doing what he wanted to do. I can relate, Jimmy. I can relate. A lot of these divine counterparts get caught in a cycle, and that's really where you have to recognize your worth. And because, that's the situation might look a little bit different on the surface, but what's happening is very familiar to a lot of counterparts where the divine masculines are kind of, even though they're feeling this connection, they're denying this connection. Now, this feels like past energy. There does feel like there's a lot of change that's coming and forward momentum that's coming for these counterparts. But it's because they're actually showing you where you need to step up into your power, into your divinity, into your strength, into your sovereignty. It's showing you where you need to create boundaries and say, this is what I do deserve, and this is what I don't deserve. There's that phrase of, you show people the way you're meant to be treated. And this is you showing, especially your counterpart, how you want to be treated, how you deserve to be treated, by saying, listen, you do you, and I'm going to do me, that kind of thing. Because the dynamic the cycle that you were in, the patterns that you were playing out, it wasn't working. Because you weren't obviously getting your needs met. I've been in that same situation. All right, let's get some more and see what's going on. Why is this here? I feel it's interesting that we're talking. Yeah, okay. I feel like we're talking about this. It's interesting that we're talking about this, Jimmy, because you know how I just said it feels like there's past energy and like there's something that's really changing. Like that might have been the dynamic in the past. This is what is coming through. We have the High Priestess and the Seven of Cups clarified by Justice. So whatever the dynamic might have been in the past, because you're really stepping into your power, because you're stepping into your sovereignty and just not playing out that pattern anymore, it might be making them a little bit uncomfortable. But your divine masculine, at least, it might be making them a little bit uncomfortable, but they're seeing that it was a pattern that wasn't fair. And they are trying to bring justice back to the situation. They're trying to bring balance back to the situation. And so with the High Priestess here in the Seven of Cups, it feels like, you see how all these cups are really positive? There's fire, there's a violet flame, there's little sparkles and bubbles and rainbows and the peace dove and this vine. It's all positive. The traditional Rider-Waite doesn't look like this. It has like dragons and I forget what it looks like. It definitely doesn't look like that. It has some more foreboding energy about it. This feels all positive here. And it feels like by you detaching your energy, divine feminine, it feels like, and not perpetuating the cycle, refusing to perpetuate the cycle by letting go of the pattern. Remember when we just talked about that? You're changing your pattern. They're changing their pattern. They're trying to figure out, getting out of this confusion, trying to figure out how to bring justice back to the situation. Because as they bring justice back to the situation, balance back to the situation, what they're actually doing is they're balancing out themselves, and vice versa. As they're balancing out themselves, they're balancing out this connection. And this is part of the truth and the clarity that they have been getting. We've been getting the Justice card. We've been getting the Ace of Swords a lot. There's a lot of clarity that's coming in for divine masculines. And it's because they've been in such chaos within and they don't want to be anymore. That doesn't feel good to them anymore. Again, they had gotten so used to living in that chaos that it was almost comfortable for them. But they have had a glimpse of a different way of living. And they're recognizing that they have just been stuck and they're getting themselves unstuck. That's the word Spirit said, unstuck. They're getting themselves unstuck and realizing that they have to move forward because the universe is really pushing them in a different direction to move forward. And now it's going to play out in a number of different ways for everybody. It's going to be they were stuck in a relationship, or they were stuck in a career, or with finances or lack of finances, or there was some kind of expectation with family members or a legal system or a belief. And they might not have viewed themselves as stuck in the beginning, but the further along they've been on this journey, the more awakened they've become, the more clarity they've received. And it's like they're looking at their lives and they're like, what is this? Why have I kept myself stuck for this long? Okay. You guess that's him getting his shit together. Yeah. Yeah, they really are, because it's like, it's almost like they're waking up to the fact of, I can't do this anymore. Why am I doing this to myself? It's like they're saying, it's like whatever tower moment has come in for them, it's like they've had one too many tower moments and they're finally realized it. And they realize that they can put a stop to the tower moments if they just stop resisting themselves. And if they just, stop denying the changes, stop resisting the changes and stop denying the changes that their soul is actually trying to bring to them. That's really what's happening, is their soul is trying to guide them and they've just been resisting their own soul. They've been listening to ego and not themselves, or they've been listening to other outside influences, which is also ego, and not themselves. They've just been resisting themselves. And so it's like, I feel like they've had tower moments after tower moments after tower moment. And it's like, the universe is like, we'll keep bringing those tower moments to you, however many you need. And 555, yes, awesome. It's like the universe is like, we'll keep doing this. You keep resisting, we'll keep doing this. And it brought the divine masculine to their needs, where they were just like, enough is enough. And it made them really, I feel, open their eyes to the role that they were playing, the part that they were playing, that they were part of the problem. And I don't mean part of the problem in like a negative, derogatory way, but In a sense, they were just blocking themselves. They were just doing it to themselves. And that took a major shift in perspective for them. But balance is coming in, justice is coming in, because they're surrendered. They're not fighting anymore. They're not fighting themselves anymore. Their ego isn't flaring. Their ego isn't fighting anymore. And they might have some little flare-ups and stuff, but that's just some fine-tuning, Spirit is saying. They're not in that complete state of resistance anymore, where they're just like, fighting tooth and nail, being reckless, and just fighting this with everything they've got. That was their ego. And so now there's balance that's being had here. All right, let's see if there's anything else we need to know about this connection. Is there anything you guys want me to ask for the collective? Anything we need to tune into? Anything else we need to know? Yeah, what I was just saying, wow, this is heavy. It was too much of a weight. They were collapsing under the weight of themselves, under the weight of their ego, under the weight of fighting, under the weight of fighting everybody. But they were only fighting everybody because they were fighting themselves. And so now they are just letting this go. This is surrender here. And what do we have on the bottom of the deck but the Lovers? Yeah. And this, if you guys have been on my channel for a while, we've talked about this card before. This is my favorite card in all of tarot, in all of the decks that I have, because look at that. Can you see that? Look at that beautiful energy there. That is the embodiment of divine masculine and divine feminine energy, where the divine masculine is really the protector of the divine feminine energy. He is lifting her up, supporting her, loving her, allowing the divine feminine to rise and be divine feminine, to express herself, to open herself up to the energy that's pouring through. You guys, and you see how blended the energy there is? There's no separation. You guys work together. There is no competition. There is no superiority. You work together, the healer and the warrior. And so Jamia, it's funny that we're coming back to that, because that's like, they're coming back around to that. It's funny that they had me recommend that video to you. The healer and the warrior. The divine masculine is the embodiment of the warrior energy. The divine feminine is the embodiment of the healer energy. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not both. Feminine is a warrior in her own right. Masculine is a healer in his own right. That is the merging of the energies. That is how there is no separation. You help each other. You lift each other up. There has been such a huge imbalance up until now within this connection, but that is what is being healed. And look at that energy. Look at the love between those two. That is what you do in sacred union. You are equal. You are harmonized. You help lift each other up. The healer and the warrior. Amazing. I love that card. Yeah, I love this card so much. Like, I need to get like a big picture of it. I love it so much. It's just beautiful. And look at the strength there. The strength and the vulnerability both. Isn't that just amazing? Both being strong, both being vulnerable. It's just, it's an incredible energy. You feel more balanced in your DM energy. Good. Yeah, it's funny that came back up again. I'll try to remember to put them in the description box. I usually, they actually might be in the description box of the latest Divine Masculine reading that I just did. So do make sure that you check that out. I think the Healer Warrior video is there. Yeah. Yeah, like, you're both healer and the warrior. There's no separation there, but And because there's no separation between your energies, you embody both energies. You're a predominant energy, you're predominantly male or predominantly female, but you hold both energies within you. So in that way, you're both the healer and the warrior. But the masculine energy, and remember, you have both within you, the masculine energy is a warrior and the feminine energy is a healer. And at times, you're going to have to step into your divine masculine energy. So, for example, when I was very sick, I was in my masculine energy. I had to be a warrior. I had to fight through it. But my predominant energy is feminine. My predominant energy is that intuitive, that healing energy. My divine masculine is a leader. He's a warrior. Whether he recognizes that or not, he is. I can see that. But he also has really strong healing abilities. So you really are the embodiment of both, but predominantly one. You say the masculine, hi Natalie, you say the masculine deals with their growth in a different way. How is it different? So divine feminine energies, you'll do, because you're awakened to this journey, you understand this journey on a different level than divine masculines. Divine masculines, they're really very grounded energy. They are very much located. I use the chakra system to really display this. So divine feminine energy is really centrally located in the higher chakras, really connected with the crown chakra, the brow chakra, and expressive with the throat chakra. Divine masculine energy is really grounded in the lower chakras, really rooted with the root chakra, sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. Very grounded energy. Now, again, you hold both energies within you, and you have all the chakras within you, right? So what happens is the divine feminine energy brings that energy down from the higher planes, from the higher chakras. Divine masculine energy rises from the lower chakras, and you meet on the fourth chakra, which is the bridge. That's where the energies really become merged and blended. And that's where you manifest. That's where you connect. You always connect within the heart space. That's what they mean about go within the heart. That's the heart chakra. So divine feminine energies, being in the higher chakras, they do their healing in a different way. They will do energy healing. They'll do more meditation, possibly. They'll connect to their spirit team, do energy work, things like that. Divine masculine energy will really play out their healing, process their healing in a very physical 3D manner. That's why they might have those karmic relationships. That's why they might have those experiences in the 3D with regards to finances or career. They'll play it out in a very different way. The more the energies become merged and blended and balanced, I should say, the more divine masculine is tapping into their intuition, into their connection with source, connection with themselves. So the more the processing becomes different. So if you notice, a lot of divine masculines have been hermiting a lot. And I don't have the hermit card with me right now, but the hermit has a lantern that they hold. That's their own inner light. They're following their inner guidance now, where before they might have just been playing out their healing in a very physical manner, in a very 3D manner, focused on their physical plane, their finances, their family, their relationships, things like that. But they were actually playing out their karma in order to heal. Now they're doing it in a different way. So it's really, it's a different process, but the more they tap into their intuition, the more they're going to be tapping into a different way of being. The more they shift their consciousness, the more they're going to learn how to heal and process differently. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to say 3D matrix, Seth, because it's not so much 3D matrix as in physical reality. Because the 3D matrix is dense, dark energy. And as you transcend that, so is your divine masculine. So it's not the matrix, but it's more of a physical plane, physical experience that they're going through, that they move through. That's really the process. Good, Alicia and Natalie. I'm glad that made sense. Yeah, we're really moving out of that matrix, because the matrix is just programming. But so there's really a difference between, so we call it 3D, we call the physical plane 3D, but it's not that programming anymore. It's really just physical reality. And even when we're in fifth dimensional consciousness, we're still experiencing the physical reality. We're still experiencing human existence, because that's what we're here for. We're here to bring that fifth dimensional consciousness down to the human experience in a physical reality, where we manifest faster, where we live more just joyful, vibrant lives, where things, you're going to start seeing colors look more vibrant. Things aren't as dull as maybe they were, where you're more in tune with nature. That's all physical sensations. That's all a physical reality, but from a different level of consciousness. It's a different level of connection. You're still physical. You're still human incarnate, which is a beautiful experience to have, but it's a different level of consciousness. It's a different level of experiencing that human physical embodiment, which is fun. I am so excited for the changes to our physical reality, to our collective physical reality. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, you're so welcome, Alicia. I was really called to do it. I think we all needed to just raise our vibrations and feel better and just lighten things up a little bit, because the energy felt really heavy. All right, we'll hang out for a little bit longer. I'm going to start closing out because I'm exhausted. I want to see if I can sleep tonight. But let me know if there's anything else you guys want to chat about. Yeah. And Seth, you see it happening lately through the darkness even. Yeah, that's because you're having that shift in consciousness. That's because you're anchored into that balance. That's what this ascension journey really has brought you. You are the magician. You are the high priest, the high priestess. You really are just, that's all the tools that you have, not to get caught up in all the fear and all the hype and all the negative energy, the dense energy that everybody else is. You can see beyond. You can see from a higher perspective. You're not caught in the 3D energy of it all. You can have compassion for that. You can see what's going on physically. We cannot ignore our physical reality, because that's a collective reality that we have created together. But we're shifting that reality, and you can see that by all the changes that are happening. You can see that by the systems that aren't sustainable, that are going to be changed. Again, we can't ignore it. Like, for example, don't ignore the speed limit. I mean, okay, that's not a good example because we all ignore the speed limit. So that's not a good example. Everybody ignores the speed limit, but we'll use that as an example. Don't ignore the speed limit just because you want to go faster, right? Just because you feel like you should go faster, just because you feel like that's part of the old system and the programming and you don't adhere to that. You can't ignore the collective reality. You can't ignore the current reality that you live in. But you can work at changing that with the collective by changing your vibration and changing your energy. And as you change your vibration and change your energy, that ripples out to affect other people's vibrations and energy, raises the vibration and energy. And then you collectively, with that group, change the physical reality as a whole. Does that make sense? So that's what we're actually seeing here happen. There's a collective physical reality that we have created from a past version of ourselves as a planet, right? That past version of ourselves wanted, I used in one of the recent readings, I used, for example, factories. Somebody had the thought that we needed a way to mass produce or something like that. So the solution was factories, and that came into the collective consciousness. And as a collective, because more and more people thought about that, it became viable. That became our collective reality. We are recognizing that that's not sustainable. We're recognizing a call back to earth, a call back to more natural ways of doing things, more sustainable ways of doing things. And so the more people who are awakened to that and create that in their energy field, create that in their consciousness and their thought process, that then is going to be manifesting in the physical world as the new collective reality. That's really what New Earth is all about. It's creating a new collective reality from a higher dimensional mindset, a higher shift in consciousness. And what is that shift in consciousness? But it's a higher vibration of love, of light, of harmony, balance, peace, all those high vibrations. Where before the third dimension is really that dense, dark energy. We're moving out of that. We're shifting out of that. That's what New Earth really is. It's creating and manifesting a collective reality from a higher energy of love, a higher vibration of love. I don't know what I just said. I hope that made sense. Can I speak more on New Earth? Do you have specific questions, or did I just cover that? I have no idea. Yeah. And that's good. All that, those happy people, all of those, that's really what it is. That's the mass awakenings that are happening now. It's a call back to ourselves. It's a call back to humanity. It's a call back to not focusing on. That's what's so beautiful about this situation. Even though there is a lot of fear, that's what's so beautiful about this situation, because it's a call back to center is what I just heard. It's a call back to ourselves. It's a call back to what's important, and not, we were really in they're saying a rat race. We were really in like a go, 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 where we were putting our attention and our focus on things that just didn't matter. And again, because we had created that current physical reality, we were still living in it. So like, you can't ignore paying bills. You can't ignore paying, for things, but we're shifting the reality now. We're shifting back our focus to what is it that matters. What matters is generosity of the heart. What matters is love. What matters is how we treat each other. What matters is kindness. We're coming back to those core basic principles. And as we come back to those core basic principles, the systems as a whole are going to be changing, because we're moving out of the energy of greed and corruption and the power, the controlled power, the manipulative power. We're moving out of those dense, negative, dark energies and moving more into the light. And so we're going to be manifesting in the light. That covered it. Good. It's exciting. It's I have so much compassion, because in my Facebook feed, I see so many of my friends who are focused on the fear, and they're doing their job too. They're doing their job. I had a friend who created a group where they're making masks for medical workers. She's doing her job, even though she's kind of entrenched in this physical energy, in the 3D of it all. She's doing her job. She's a light worker too. She doesn't know it on that level, but she's a light worker where she is helping like a ground force. Everybody is really playing a role here, and it's beautiful. And even if they're like entrenched in this fear, they're making a difference. Everybody's making a difference right now. Do you believe that God, angels, and source are removing the old power structure and the reptilian overlords is part of all of this? I'm going to point you to Hold the Light, the Hold the Light audio channeling I did. And that's all I'm going to say about that for now. So, good. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? You got me, Seth. I'm still learning. That's part of my process as well. I've always been aware, but I'm still learning. I'm still understanding, I should say. So my job that has brought my vibrations down a little bit. My job really is to hold the light, and it's not ignoring any of that. because I have been called to look into that and research more. But my job right now is to hold the light. And the only way I can hold the light is, like I said in that reading, to keep my face turned towards the sun, and the higher vibrations and the light as best as I can. That's my job right now. So not ignoring, you don't ignore, you don't disassociate, you keep yourself educated, but yeah, I'm not called to talk about that right now. Like a sunflower. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, like a sunflower. Yep. Yep. Focus on the positive, focus on the balance. Doesn't mean that you ignore the dark. You've got to integrate the dark. But yeah. Yeah. I will say that I was a little bit nervous to talk about the stuff that I talked about in Light the World and Hold Your Light. But that was really me stepping up into my power. You have to overcome the fear. You can't let the fear hold you back, because what does that do? But it just perpetuates more fear. So we're going to be called, especially over the next few weeks, the next few months, the next few years even, to keep stepping into our power and allow yourself to feel the fear, but also allow yourself to overcome it. Don't let that hold you back. We're not in a time where we're meant to dim our light. We're really in a time where we're meant to step up and lead, be leaders, be in our strength, be in our, don't do anything that makes you truly uncomfortable, but ask yourself, why is it making you uncomfortable? And allow yourself to go through the process of overcoming that discomfort. You don't run and hide anymore. That's not what we're meant for. We face everything. But you don't have to just throw yourself into the deep end. You can wade into it a little bit, but you can't, run and hide. If you're at a pool, this is what they're showing me. If you're at a pool, you don't have to throw yourself into the deep end. That really brings about a ton of fear in you, because fear can paralyze. But you can let yourself kind of sink into the water. The thing that you cannot do is just run and hide in the locker room. That's what is not allowed anymore. Spirit's saying, nope, that's not allowed. Because especially as light workers, especially on this journey, you have been called to do so much more. You have been called to step up and guide and lead, and to guide and lead others, especially those who are just beginning to awaken and understand and be a part of this journey themselves. Feel the fear, but do it anyway. Yep. Feel the fear, but do it anyway. That's the only way to get through it, is to do it. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Is it time to go to bed yet? My stomach feels like there is occasionally something pushing out of it on this side. It could be. It absolutely could be solar plexus. Always, if you feel like there's something, you always consult with a physician. It's hard, it's hard to tell what's ascension and what is physical. I have Lyme disease, and sometimes I think I'm having a flare up and it's ascension symptoms. Sometimes it's hard to tell. I thought I was having ascension symptoms back in, I don't know when it was, maybe January, February. And I actually called my doctor because it was getting to the point where I thought it might have been a flare up. So always seek medical advice if you feel like that's pertinent. I mean, I can't give medical advice here, but always seek a physician's advice, because it could be ascension or it could be something. It's hard to tell on this journey, but always trust your intuition and seek advice, just at least just to get checked out. But I will say Ascension does some crazy shit to the body, especially as we're getting DNA is activating. We're becoming more crystalline. We're getting a lot of light activations, changing into our light bodies. There's a lot that happens with our physical bodies as it is changing as we go along this ascension journey. But don't discount the physical. Don't discount. We have doctors for a reason, so don't discount that. You're welcome. I have no idea what that is, Seth. What is that? Moldavite crystal? No. But I would love to be educated if you want to tell me about it. That sounds awesome. The middle of your back has been super itchy lately. I don't know what to tell you guys. This ascension journey does some weird shit to our bodies, doesn't it? I can tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I had a major heart activation where it just felt like it wasn't palpitations. It was like a sudden surge within my heart. It felt like my heart just like it was a physical sensation too. And I knew that was a heart activation. It actually felt like my divine masculine's heart activation. That's what I had attributed it to, which was crazy. But yeah, I mean, there's some weird things that are happening. Jimmy, I had that happen to me once. It was maybe 6 months ago where I had pain where my shoulder blades were, and I had a vision of like angel wings. I mean, nothing is impossible. Like everything is possible. Nothing's impossible. And if you feel it, then there's truth in it. So trust in yourself, trust in what you're getting, even if it seems ridiculous and out of this world, because this shit is real. It really is. I could fly to my DM. Oh my God. Okay, let's learn about Moldavite. Moldavite, it's a tektite from outer space that landed in one part of Europe millions of years ago. Some history points that it was what was in the Holy Grail, and the Queen of England had chunks in her crown. Whoa. Does it like what kind of properties does it have? Does it have like healing properties or something? Rapid transformation. Wow. I would really love to learn more about that. I don't know anything about that, but I'd really love to learn more. You wanted to get angel wings tattooed on your back, and someone said that. So don't listen to people. Don't listen to people. You do you. You felt mine growing in. You could envision them, and they looked like butterfly wings, and I loved it because they're spirit animals. Oh, that's beautiful. See? Yeah. I mean, we can't discount anything. There's so much more to us. There's so much more to life. There's so much more to this universe, and there's so much more to us than our tiny human minds can even fathom. And that is what we're really waking up to. We're remembering who we are and that we're so much more than what we perceived ourselves to be. That's the whole beauty in this journey. It shifts people's lives to where they're supposed to go very fast. Do you know where to get some of that? Because I feel like I could use some of that. We are so much more capable than we give ourselves credit for. Absolutely. Absolutely. Past life visions with aliens and astral travel. That. Seth, can you email me? Because I'm interested. I want to learn how to get some of that. I feel like we're talking about like a drug drop. How can I get my hands on some of that Moldavite? Oh my gosh, that's funny. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Here we are, like, talking about crystals, and it's like, where can I get me some of that? You guys have made me feel so much better tonight. The energy just feels so, so, so good here. So I'm really glad that we went live. I hope that this helped you guys as well. I think we're going to close out because I think I'm getting ready for bed. But we're crystal dealers. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Well, I think all crystals can be a drug. They are very addicting. I have look. This isn't even like, this is a tiny piece of all that I have. I can't even keep everything on my desk that I have. But yeah, you guys are amazing. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for your support and community, and just I just love you guys. You guys make me just so happy. So I'm really glad that we did this. Make sure you stay tuned. I don't know when we're going to have another reading, possibly tomorrow, once I get through some client readings. But make sure that you stay tuned to the channel. Also, if you guys didn't catch it today, I don't know how many of you guys are actually getting notified when there's a new video up. Some of you have mentioned that you weren't seeing the videos that were coming in. So do make sure that you hit that little bell button next to the subscribe button so that you know that there is a new video that's there. I don't think the notifications are going out, so make sure you check that out. Good. I'm so glad this all made you. I'm glad that this raised all your vibes as well. I'm so happy for that. All right, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night. And I'm sending you so much love and so much light. And I will see you soon. Have a wonderful night. Bye.